forsaken place to be.
Thank you. Kathy Barton-Para wrote that song in partnership with Meredith Ludwig, our own Tilly Tyrell. It's one of 12 songs that she composed for Gumbo Bottom's A Big Muddy Musical, which premiered on this very stage in 2008. My name's Leslie Oswald, and I directed that production and later took up the role of Vivian. For all of our performances up and down the river in little towns, Dave and Kathy made up half the band. We've been trying to pull this little taste of Gumbo together for years. Unfortunately, Willie Cogshell, who played Gabe Burns in the show, could not be with us tonight. But even though we don't have all of our favorite ingredients, we have plenty. From the original cast, we have Deb Jewett as Lucy Taylor, Steve Jones as Jacques Jean-Roux, Michael Crow joined us when we did the production on the Queen of the Mississippi. I will play Vivian tonight, and rounding out our cast is Tracy Jones. Michael and Tracy will be our narrators, do a little sound effects, and lend their lovely voices to the song. In the band, Dave is joining us, of course. And Kevin Hennessy on bass has been with us from the very beginning. And Dave Wilson on the fiddle, he joined us on the riverboat as well.
The musical takes place in the spring of 1928. And as you just heard in the first song, Vivian has lost her fortune, and all she has left is a deed to some land in Missouri. When she arrives, the first person she meets is Jacques Jean-Roux, a gentleman of sorts.
Pardon-moi, madame, but that bag looks awfully heavy.
I'm fine, thank you.
First time in Missouri?
Yes.
I hope someone is meeting you.
Well, they'll be here just any minute.
Oh, what a relief. I thought you'd arrived without man or maidservant here in the wilds of Missouri. It's just not safe.
Why?
You left civilization when you crossed the Mississippi.
I did? Are you from Missouri?
Heaven forbid. I'm just traveling through.
What makes it so dangerous?
Why, the river, of course. Whirlpools that will suck you under. Fish big enough to swallow you whole. And then there's the snakes.
Poisonous?
Deadly.
That sounds horrendous. Why do people live here?
Good question.
Vivian runs Jacques off temporarily, but he never goes very far. He smells the money. He follows her when she goes out to see her land and meet her neighbors, Gabe Burns and Lucy Taylor.
Where is my land?
Just head to the river and keep on going.
Into the water?
Right into the mighty moat.
How come?
Well, you got a little sliver of land on the rough top. Most of that land caved. The river decided it wanted to go where it hadn't been in a while and flooded the bottom and took your house and your barn too.
That's impossible. I have the deed.
Too bad that old river don't know how to read.
The book for Gumbo Bottoms was inspired by oral history that Meredith Ludwig had collected along the Missouri River. She learned it was not unusual for the river to take land and give it back. She also discovered the relationship river dwellers had with the Big Muddy, their reliance upon it and each other.
New see a river, you just gotta cross over. You can't wait to reach the other side. But I see the river, I see a life giver, and a mighty fine place to live my life.
When you see a river, do you really see the river? Or are you thinking how to build a bridge? But this river life giver gives me breakfast, lunch, and dinner. This river's full of every kind of fish. Flathead, shovel nose, and humpback buffalo, I eat as well as any wealthy man. Blue cat, mud cat, channel cat, big and fat, my wealth is in the river, not the land.
There's just no way to measure all the joy and the pleasure getting dinner with some hooks and earth from Dade. For all I need to dine is rock, hook, and line. Then I lay back in my boat and dream and wait. When you see a river,
When you see a river, do you really see the water? Or just a churning menace in your way? But I know this muddy water gives me drum and gar and sucker. It keeps me full and happy all my days. Flathead, shovel nose, and humpback buffalo, I eat as well as any wealthy man. Blue cat, mud cat, channel cat, big and fat, my wealth is in the river, not the land. There's nothing so grand as catfish in a pan, and you're floating in your boat at eventide. Full moon shining on the stream, frogs and crickets sing. Boy, there's nothing better than a river life. Flathead, shovel nose, and humpback buffalo, I eat as well as any wealthy man. Blue cat, mud cat, channel cat, big and fat, my wealth is in the river, my wealth is in the river, my wealth is in the river, not the land.
when Jacques Jeanroux overheard Miss Vivian's dilemma, he comes out from behind a shrub.
Ahem. Yeah. If I could be so bold, madam. Upon that little strip of land up on the bluff is enough Indian artifacts and Aztec gold to take care of you for the rest of your life.
I'm listening.
All it has to do is a little digging. I've got the time, the tools, and the muscle.
The one muscle you need is a brain, and you don't have that. There's no Aztec gold around here.
Well, if there's even one nugget, I want it.
He's talking about a burial mound.
Go on, Mr. Jeanroux.
Well, the Indians buried their folks with pottery, tools, jewels. There's no telling what we might find.
When can we start?
You can't dig that mound. Those are graves. They don't belong to you.
Well, I own that land, what's left of it, and I'll do with it as I please.
But people are buried there.
They don't care. They've been dead for years. Besides, we'll leave the bones. It's the rest we want. Just beneath that dirt and clay, that is where our fortunes lay. Picks and shovels, muscles and might, and we'll be wealthy by tomorrow night. Hallelujah, we'll soon be set with all that loot we're gonna get. Silver, jewels, beaten gold, and pots 1,001 years old. Can't you hear those gold coins jingle? Can't you see the gemstones mingle? Can't you smell the money, honey? Darling, stick with me. You think that you were set before? Just wait until you see this store where pirates of the Caribbean would drool at the riches we'll be seeing. The King of England's a prosperous man with castles, crown jewels, houses, land. He's a rich man, you can bet, but not as rich as we're gonna get.
Can't you hear those gold coins jingle? Can't you see the gemstones mingle? Can't you smell the money, honey? Darling, stick with me. Darling, wait and see. Darling, stick with me.
Why do you think boasting up this this mound is any different than going up to the cemetery and cracking open a casket.
It's on my property and it's an Indian mound. Nobody cares.
I care. I'm an Indian, at least halfways.
You don't dress like one.
Well, I left my feathers at home. The point is, you're messing with more than arrowheads. You're stirring up the ancestors, and nobody's gonna rest right after this.
Jacques and Miss Vivian agreed to meet in the morning to dig for treasure. That night at the Riverdale Motel, Miss Vivian fell asleep quickly, but not without visitors.
Vivian! Vivian! Your family is calling out to you. Can't you hear them saying, dig us up? Dig us up? Come on and dig us up.
No,
Can you hear them?
no.
Listen.